that are posted up. He's co-authored 7 books now with Craig Smith, who's on at least once a week with Neil Cavuto over at Fox News Business. The latest article you have, actually, I think you are, in a sense, an author as well as a brilliant analyst, but you're also a stand-up comedian. You always have author titles that grab you. They grab you by the collar. Latest one is California, fewer Democrats would mean fewer fires. Ha, ha, ha. Expand on that. Tell us what that means.
Well, Democrats alter the ecology. By the way, speaking of altering the ecology, 2 quick news notes. Number 1, at Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee, they have come to a surprising new conclusion. You know, we just had the time change from daylight saving time. They have found that that is not actually a casual event that simply causes an increase of accidents the following Monday. They claim that daylight saving time going on to and off from it affects us about 8 months out of the year by messing up our circadian rhythms, by increasing our risk of ischemic stroke, of heart attack, and so on.
Doesn't surprise me at all, because your rhythm was even thrown an hour. When we want to recycle somebody, we have to recycle them backwards. We actually have to get them earlier and early nutraceuticals to rotate them back through a day, and actually to get them reset at a proper time schedule with their brain and the reticular activating system works. You can't rotate people forward. So when you do this, you actually screw up people's release of stem cells, their spasm of coronary arteries, and even their ability to fight cancer. I mean, everything gets screwed up when you do this, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And most people don't realize to the extent to which their body acts like a timeshare condo.
Right.
That's
funny.
For example, if you eat before going to sleep, say at midnight, that can have much more serious effect than you might think, because your body releases growth hormone at about 1 in the morning as you sleep. That's what repairs you for the day. But the difficulty is, if you've taken food, or if you've taken something that triggers a release of insulin, for example, insulin works counter to growth hormone.
Right, it blocks it.
They can't really coexist one with the other. And so your body is set up so you have insulin during the day and growth hormone at night while you sleep. But you can easily interfere with that. And if you do, you can have all kinds of unforeseen consequences in your health.
Well, by the way, we have a nutraceutical for releasing your growth hormone. It's actually 100 nanograms of actual human growth hormone, homeopathic per spray. You take 5 sprays first thing in the morning and at bedtime, and it'll make your brain release and produce more growth hormone. Pretty cool, hey? It's called microdose HGH. We have that.
Well, as long as you're not interfering with the growth hormone by taking something else. But
No, what it does is it makes your brain make more of it and release it. So you can actually measure your growth hormone binding peptide and the growth hormone levels, which I do on tests, and prove to you that it increases, because somatopause is when you actually stop producing enough growth hormone. And it happens earlier in some people than we expect. Even in their teens or 20s, some people enter somatopause even long before even we call andropause in men or menopause in women. A lot of people don't realize our toxic world is actually causing premature somatopause. Interesting, hey?
Interesting, and of course it raises the question. There are some people who believe that doing anything that increases your growth hormone beyond a certain age increases your risk of cancer.
That's not true at all.
One of the things that grows from growth hormone is cancer, potentially.
No, that's not true. I'll tell you what causes cancer to grow. Cancer is a fungus and infection. Everybody has cancer, has Epstein-Barr virus and fungi growing in it. And the cancer is just an escape phenomena from internal cellular changes to the DNA. Growth hormone has no effect whatsoever. Now, you can get acromegaly if you take injection growth hormone, but if you stimulate your brain to make growth hormone release, it has no effect whatsoever. You're stimulating a natural process. So if you do acromegaly, you'll become like the Hulk. You know, your bones in your face and everything will thicken up, and your bones will get thicker and everything. You don't want to do that. That's really stupid. Some people years ago thought it was an anti-aging thing, so they were taking injections of growth hormone. Bad idea. A homeopathic that makes your body more effectively make it and release it into a normal level that has a feedback inhibition cycle, totally safe. No effect on cancer whatsoever.
Oh, good.
The problem is cancer therapy, remember, is big cash business in America. That's why some oncologists have 6 or 10 chairs in their little office, and everybody's sitting there with IVs running into them because they're making. You know what? You can't hear the nurse. You know why? The cash register is clinking so loud in the doctor's office when an oncology office. Chicka, 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 chicka. People, Dr. Deagle, that's sarcastic. I said, yeah, because it's true. Crazy,
and speaking of what medical care systems will do to you, once you get to socialism, or once you get to China's idea of a social credit system, here's what is coming to us this week from the National Health Service of the United Kingdom,
right?
Particularly in North Bristol, in England.
Mm-hmm.
They have just announced, as we all know, they talk about how they will cut off medical care of certain kinds from people who insist on staying obese or smoking or doing lots of other unacceptable things. But they have just announced that they will deny medical treatment to people who are racists and sexists.
You're kidding.
No, this is, and of course, who decides whether you're a racist?
Is it based on a blood test,
well, they do.
or a kind of like an electrical scan? How do they determine if you're racist or sexist? Is it a questionnaire you fill out, and if you do, they deny you care or give you a lethal injection?
Well, one thing in that same part of England, they have taken children away from their care by state providers, foster parents, because the parents were supporters of UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party. That is Nigel Farage's party.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, yeah. So
if you support UKIP, your kids are going to be gone.
I mean, and this is the health service. So if you have only one source of health, namely a government socialist system, this is what you can be stuck with.
Oh, my.
They will make their own judgment whether you get health care at all or not based on your politics.
Yeah, no, that's why when I see, and I call Mr. Potato Head with his angry face on, Bernie Sanders, or Elizabeth Warren, you know, she's like a mad dog, you know, they're both like mad dogs, male and female, and they want to give us a social system. I can tell you, I worked in the social system of Canada, and as it mutated over time, it got more and more ugly. They killed both my parents. Rather than even contacting me, they contacted my brother, so rather than getting the treatments that I would have given, because I'm an internist as well, they terminated my parents. That's what they give you in social health care. Yeah, you get free, what I call hangnail medicine at the speed of light. You got a hangnail? We can treat that at the speed of light. You got something serious that needs innovative care and evaluation and technologies, you're screwed and tattooed, as they say in the military. So the moron, young people that are millennials, think are going to get off scot-free. You get something serious happen to you in a car accident or serious early conditioning even in your teens or 20s or 30s, or you start to get old and they don't want to resurrect your carcass, they'll let you drool until they've decided to just give you a lethal injection. Oh, no, Dr. Deagle, I said, this isn't open to your damned opinion. After nearly half a century of being a doctor, both in the U.S. and Canada, I can tell you it's not open to your damned opinion. It just is. One of those is things. And the other thing they're talking about today, about the article, which I think is really important, I want to go over some of the details of why the fires are directly to Democrats. Firstly, you got to clear the dust. I learned this out in 1977 when I worked in Lower Mainland British Columbia and Hope as a locum. You don't clear out the dead trees and the crap on the ground that are fire accelerants, you're going to cause a fire. Secondly, if a fire starts, sometimes it doesn't just go to the treetops, it actually burns to the roots for months before it explodes back in another fire, so you got to make fire breaks periodically. Third thing is, smart grid causes fires. In Saskatchewan, they're not as corrupt as here. It's against the law to have smart grid because it starts fires. And the fourth thing is they didn't clear the roads so you can get trucks up there or have water reserve tanks so that the fire departments here in California, for example, aren't even going up there because they can't even get through the roads. And they don't have giant water tanks or whatever stored so people will have water to actually protect themselves. For example, I have a 2,500-gallon tank below my property and a 500 by my house. And they're not going to get me to leave if the fire starts. I'll be using fire retardant on my home so that if the embers burn, it doesn't burn my house to the ground. These people here in California are nuts, and they're evil nuts. They're not just nuts. They're evil, destructive maniacs. And their whole idea about what causes global warming is insane. The idea they're going to do carbon capture. And I watched Mike Adams talking about this at Gen 6. I've known about Scopex and the head of Microsoft. Do you know he funded Scopex, which is to reflect light into space? These damn Democrats here in California, I call Commifornia, They're trying to kill us. And if we're stupid enough to accept it, they will kill us or destroy our homes and drive us out of the rural areas or coastal areas into super compact micro apartments where they can chain us or give us so-called nationalized health care. And if we disobey, they'll either cut us off like they do in China. 13.5 million under-citizens can't even get a drug or emergency care in China because they disagree with the communist regime. That's what happens in socialism and communism. They kill your butt when you don't agree with the people on top, right?
Sure, they do it quickly or they do it slowly, but they will kill you.
Or just provide you inferior care, so they give you toxic polypharmacy. It says in Revelation 9, and they would not repent of their pharmakia. That's pharmacy.
Sure.
Now, I don't say that all drugs are bad.
Just a parenthetical thought for you. You say you have these water tanks, which I don't doubt at all. But I don't know what the law is regarding water tanks. I do know what your law is regarding backyard pools. And you doubt.
Well, I got a pool also. I got a big pool as well. But here's what it is.
Oh, no. But understand. If firefighters come into your area because somebody's house is on fire a half a mile from you, they have the legal right to seize and confiscate all the water in your pool.
That's not likely going to happen because, you see, Dr. Deagle is the most non-passive person you'll ever meet. I'm an triple alpha male. If you think if there's a fire in the area, I'm going to let somebody seize my...
You don't have the right to take the water in your pool and devote it to protecting your house.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I will, because I'll use firepower and scalar and other advanced exotic weapons to make sure nobody steals my water to protect my home. Now, most people are passive enough to, you wouldn't do that, Deagle. Yeah, I will. That's one of the reasons why periodically when I get death threats and I actually counter-threaten them in person or on the phone or whatever, I don't get death threats anymore. You know why? You come to try to kill Deagle, I'm going to arrange an appointment to meet Allah, Satan, or God himself. Not going to be funny. So the problem is, you see, government thinks that there are overlords. Here in California, Governor Newsom is a maniac. Look at people like Adam Schiff, and I've changed the last two letters of the name to TT. Trying to impeach Trump. Now, Trump's not perfect. He's got defects. He's pushing 5G network, fracking up in Northern California that can start earthquakes, and genetically modified food because the advisors, he operates government like he's a game show host. And he listens to the fourth contestant that he likes his statement, so he follows the fourth contestant because he doesn't know about environmental or other issues. I do. That's why I'm working hard to get through to Trump, because I got evidence this week that not only after he abandoned the Kurds, now Israel's in grave danger, and Israel's making plans to hit the Bashir reactor with weapons and tankers we gave them. That means if they hit Iran, Russia, who has nukes in Large Gila Island and Punta Huerte, Nicaragua, are going to blast America with either an EMP weapon in a high-altitude attack or our population centers and our cities, and we have no missile defense, despite letters for 2 years getting back from POTUS that they do. He's delusional. He doesn't have all the information. I did. I worked 25 years ago with Missile Defense Command in Colorado, okay? The problem I see is uninformed people are trying to rule over us, and they're dangerously stupid. And that includes Trump, by the way, in areas he's not an expert in. And the advisors around, like John Lightning Bolt and other ones, are dangerous, evil people. Some of them are involved with PNAC, the Project for the New American Century. They're involved with the Council on Foreign Relations. They're involved with population control, like the guy that owns Microsoft. He's funding Project Scopex to reflect the sunlight out in the earth to decarbonize the world. These people are damned evil, and they've got lots of money to do it, too. Crazy, isn't it?
Indeed it is. I wonder if they realize, for example, if you set off a high altitude, meaning, say, 100,000 feet, a nuclear device to create electromagnetic pulse, that can knock out computers. Well, for example, I did a calculation in one of our books. Right. There is a spot between, say, Chicago and, or was it Detroit? No, it was Chicago. And Washington, D.C., you could knock out essentially all the computers between those two places with one nuclear device.
Well, actually, let me give you some actual statistics. I know the guys at Space Command. You can have a fishing boat 300 miles off the Atlantic or Pacific coast shoot up a missile just 100,000 feet in the air, and with a 3 to 5 kiloton, not a megaton, kiloton weapon that's an EMP weapon, you wouldn't hear a pop, but your cell phone would stop working, your power generators and the UHF transformers, 10,000 of them in America, would go pop, and they're not coming back. and I have it from classified sources from the U.S., Canada, and Australia, that if the power goes out, 90% of the American, Canadian, Australian population to be dead in 6 months without even a plague, an invasion, earthquakes, or anything else. Just the power going out.
Well, we've made ourselves totally dependent on these systems.
Right. On purpose, by the way.
As a result,
because they could,
if they get knocked out, we're in bad trouble.
Now, Texas, by the way,
a
has...
primitive society would survive much better.
Well, it would actually be better off to be primitive because we're too reliant on these. Texas, at least, their system is completely separated from the national grid for North America. But the problem is what we should do is lay plasma lines and use tokamak fusion reactors and have power generation and storage systems. My niece, who had her PhD at 18 and her master's degree at 13 in plasma physics from Princeton, developed a system of storing megawatts of power in underground storage tank systems. We need to do that, but we're not doing anything. We don't have a way of even surge protectors or our UHF transformers with the commission that was completely ignored by Barack Obama, the moron in the White House at the time, for 2 terms. And guess what? These guys, these California Democrats, are ready to kill us.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great-tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great-tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get Emergency Foods for your supply for preparation, and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop-down message at NutriMedical.com, and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores, or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop-down menu, and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapy throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
So they couldn't sell their homes. Finally, when they heard from us, one of the homes sold. The other home hasn't sold yet in a year.
You could buy it cheap.
Yeah. And we're back. I want you to go through this. Most of this stuff is just common sense and decency and logic. It doesn't require a genius to figure it out. Although, let's put it this way, I have the intellectual power. I do not have a cape, and I can't fly at the speed of light, but I am Clark Kent. And I don't put up with garbage. And I said, people say, that's not very nice. I said, why in your delusional mind do you think Dr. Deagle's nice? I'll die for you. I'll die for the Most High God, for the truth. But I don't put up with a centillion of crap from anyone. And I don't want to do something and lie to you about something, say, their Governor Newsom is really looking out for you. No, he's not. He's letting illegals set up fires and set up little communities where they actually don't have properly managed fires. In fact, that happened near the I-15, which caused a lot of the fires last year. We don't have proper management of our power corporations that are cleaning out the dust and the chaparral near these power surge lines that are creating sparks when the humidity drops to 10%. That's just damn stupid. That's like a kid throwing lit matches into a pile of brush right beside your home. What do you expect is going to happen? It's going to burn it down. This doesn't require a genius to figure this out. And then these stupid governors, now we see PG&E is actually say they're going to go bankrupt because they're responsible for the fires. They've actually proven liability that they actually moved their power line. Now their idea is, well, we'll just turn the damn power off so 2 million people don't have power, including Deborah Tavares' own daughter with a disabled child. I mean, this is not decent. I mean, the Democrats are literally managing us into hell. I call California or Hellofornia. I mean, it really is getting disgusting here, and there's a lot of people that are more conservative or just logical. People that are decent are trying to get the hell out of these Democrat-managed cities and states. It's unbelievable what they're doing to us, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And look at the nature of the insanity. To begin with, this is really desert in Southern California. Mm-hmm. As desert, it would normally have periodic fires that would burn off the excess brush. The brush would never build up to a highly destructive point anyway. But the government has stepped in and said, we have to protect all the brush as natural environment. You can't touch it. You can't cut it down. You can't push it back, even if you're the utility whose power line is chartered to run over it. So you're going to have fire burning more or less directly under your power lines.
Right.
Now, once you've done that, you then are letting brush grow and build up. You are defying the fire cycle. You are doing limited firefighting, meaning you're preventing natural fires from clearing the land. But
right.
As you say, with the chaparral and everything else, as I talked about in my column at WorldNet Daily,
right.
This is part of the natural cycle in this environment. What we have done, normally it would be dry enough that plants wouldn't grow that much, it wouldn't be a problem, but we now import water from hundreds of miles away via aqueducts and so on.
Right.
We could just take it from the ocean, as the city of Carlsbad in Southern California has done.
Or primary water.
The ocean.
A few days ago, I talked to Paul Power, who's been working 60 years doing primary water, It uses all kinds of technologies, including radar and dowsing, etc. And primary water comes from deep inside the earth. In fact, it comes from a thing called ringwoodite, which makes up most of the mantle for thousands of miles deep. And so there's more water locked up in the rocks of the earth than in all the oceans and all the lakes and all the atmosphere around the planet, by 10 times at least, or more. And the problem is, you see, besides the ocean water, there's tons of places where we could be not only doing that, and I'm going to go over 3 different technologies I know will get rid of fires. The first one is simply compressing nitrogen to a liquid and firing it off with a linear accelerator tube at highest velocity as micro, if you want to call it, cubettes that are micro cubettes of frozen nitrogen or liquid nitrogen to actually turn off fires and put a boundary zone between the oxygen and the fire, because it's the transfer of electrons from oxygen that allow fires to spread.
So
Number
take
2.
Away its heat and its oxygen so it can't
Right.
burn.
Second thing you do is a thing called positrons. Positrons are positively charged electrons. It's the electron transfer that allows a fire to exist. So the same thing we use in a positron emission tomography scanner called a PET scanner, we can create a positron beam which will actually not only unwind storm systems and tornadoes, but also turn off fires. So if you had a positron beam and you're a firefighter, you could literally turn off the fire by literally shutting off the electrons. The third is what I'm working on now that's more simple. And it's a scalar technology to actually interfere with the scalar frequencies of oxygen. So you aim a phased array frequency toward a specific target, and it deoxygenates it. So in other words, you aim it at a person, they'll drop to the ground deoxygenated, or if you aim it at a fire, oxygen cannot interact with the fire. It stops it being able to interact.
And
So
when the
the 3
fire
technologies.
is gone, does the oxygen come back?
Or
Or
well,
do
the
you
problem
permanently destroy it?
No, it only just destroys it as long as the beam is pointed at the top, at the
Right.
at the margin of it. As soon as you turn it off, the oxygen's back. The key issue is that once fires get going, they actually are self-feeding. For example, you can have a fire, and I've seen this when I worked in British Columbia, and I worked also in the provinces of Alberta. You can have a fire in the grasslands of Alberta, let's say, or Saskatchewan, that can move at hundreds of miles an hour, or across an area. It's unbelievable the force of the fire itself, how it creates its own wind. And what people don't understand, once this thing is going, it's like self-fulfilling. And we need to have different technology rather than just fire, agents that actually, many of them, unfortunately, that are used are toxic. Now, we could create non-toxic ones with things like, as I mentioned, what I call a boundary zone thing with nitrogen. So you just concentrate nitrogen into the air, because 78% plus of the air, of the components of the air is nitrogen. So if you could just compress nitrogen from the air and create a nitrogen beam technology or jet technology, you could turn off fire simply by taking the zip out of it by cooling it and blocking the oxygen boundary zone with the fire. We need to start being more creative, because the idea of always using water or using a fire retardant is stupid, okay? And not only that, they had so many drones in the air in the fires last year and this year, and I have my Intel people who are my friends are computer techies. And they had so many in the air, they actually couldn't get the helicopters in with the fire retardants to stop the fire. And if you don't have it exactly accurate, not only that, you have to understand that sometimes these fires that started are growing through the ground. Once you get the fire from the tops of the trees, a lot of times the fires will smolder in the ground for months even, and then explode when the humidity reaches a certain level. So, we should have sensors in the ground to sense temperature, and if temperatures start to rise, you've got to assume there's a fire down there. That can be done with digital sensors. We need to start being more technically creative in the idea of cleaning out the dust and all the crap, and not having smart grid electricity that causes sparks, and then getting a chaparral away from power lines, and maybe getting rid of power lines and putting what's called a plasma line, which is a buried line of a magnetic tube that can hold plasma. It's not alternative current, and would not be therefore affected by an EMP from the sun or coronal mass ejection or cyber attack, and wouldn't start fires because it wouldn't accelerate fires that start from the smart grid system, which is stupid what we have now. Everything we're doing is actually fire accelerant technology, including we put thorium, strontium, barium, and aluminum nanoparticles in the upper atmosphere so they convert the HARP project to a space-based satellite project for steering weather systems, triggering earthquakes and volcanoes, and actually dehydrating the atmosphere and creating fires. We've actually done this on purpose. It's actually part of a global project. And it's tied to people like idiots like this guy, the director of Microsoft, called Project Scopex, to actually block the sun by putting calcium carbonate in the atmosphere, which also, by the way, all calcium carbonate has lead in it. So you're putting lead in the upper atmosphere besides calcium carbonate. These people are nuts, aren't they?
Well, if they're going to do that, it would be simpler to use very finely powdered sulfur. Which
they did that
out
too. And by the way, the sulfur acidifies the ground, and they were worried 20, 30 years ago that, oh, acid rain's bad. These morons want to put acid rain to decarbonize and kill plants so it'll drop the carbon production and the plant production of carbon in the atmosphere, when in fact Mount Erebus in Antarctica makes 50,000 times more carbon dioxide and what's called greenhouse gases like methane and methane hydrates, makes more of those by 50,000 times in all the factories and all the business on Earth. But these morons don't know this, and they even had proof recently in the last 6 months that the so-called hockey stick that was put by this guy by the name of Mann, M-A-N-N,
Yep.
I had experts on, is a lie. They use manipulative technologies to actually try to manipulate the database by not selectively getting all the data and try to say, oh, all of a sudden it went up. No, it didn't go up. These are liars, okay? They're manipulating the weather because they're trying to create an extinction level event. So these things happening in Northern California are bad policy and bad animal husbandry of the forests and bad technology using smart grid actually can start fires. All of this is bad policy by crazy politicians.
The starting point of his graph 100 years earlier, you would have seen it's a hockey stick on both ends.
Right.
But the Middle Ages were actually much warmer. But he deliberately shaped his graph to make sure that it would only cover the Little Ice Age and then the current warming.
Yeah, well, it's all by design. For example, when Eric the Red and Leif the Lucky were in North America, and they used to call Nova Scotia in the Maritimes Vinland, because it was so warm, it was grapes were there, and same with Britain. People don't know that 1,000 years ago, when they actually colonized Greenland, it was nice weather there. But then it got so damn cold in the next few hundred years, they had to leave because they froze to death. People don't know this stuff, do they? They don't read history, do they?
Well, it wasn't that green, but it was certainly...
Well, it was greener. It was green enough they could...
Part of it is they were selling real estate.
But they could survive there. They could survive there, even doing fishing and wearing,
yes,
animal skins and so on. It got so cold, even just taking peat moss and trying to build a peat moss shelter wasn't enough.
But as the Little Ice Age came on, we look at their graves now, the Vikings who were there, and every year they had to dig the graves more shallowly because the soil was freezing right under them.
Well, the permafrost was advancing to the surface, right?
Yeah. In any event, what they're asking the utilities to do now as an option is to simply bury their lines underground, not these plasma lines you're suggesting, but ordinary lines. That costs about $3 million per mile on average, but just one utility, PG&E, has 265,083 miles of lines to bury at a cost of $795 billion. A task that would take, they estimate, approximately 1,000 years.
Jeez.
So that isn't much of a solution. Now, on the other hand, if you could bury any kind of superconducting line, now that had been done in the past by creating enormous cold in the metal, but if you could somehow create room temperature superconduction, and maybe you can do that with your plasma line,
right.
That would be enormously valuable because we lose a third of all the generated power that goes through those giant metal power poles they have across vacant space.
Right.
We would not lose that much power. In fact, we'd lose almost no power at all if we had superconducting lines. And
I know how to build them.
Save a third of all the power generation you need right now.
I know how to build them, to actually make a superconductor line. I know how to do it technically. In fact, I've talked for 12 years how to build a tokamak fusion reactor with helium-3. And then finally 2 years ago they came out with Lockheed Martin and say, oh, we can build one 28 by 32 feet. People need to realize the people that manage us are either evil or morons or both. And the ones running California...
They could build neighborhood reactors. They've known this since the 50s.
Exactly. They could build a neighborhood reactor that would cover thousands of homes, and we could have a redistributed system.
And you would not have to worry about enemies attacking major power grids.
Exactly.
Major power grids.
Which makes us vulnerable, right?
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day. Of course, they want to take over the West.
I remember when I lost my mind.
And welcome back. So let's continue on this article. And of course, your book, how did they get a hold of this amazing book, which is a remarkable title, and it's free if you just call the right number. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the 7th book Craig Smith and I have done together. You see Craig about once a week on with Neil Cavuto on Fox Business. Money,
Right.
Morality, and the Machine is the title of it. To get it, you could pay $20 to Jeff Bezos at Amazon, or you could get it absolutely free and post-paid. There's been plenty of time to be a stocking stuffer for Christmas just by calling the toll-free number 800-630-1492, like the Air Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's 1-800-630-1492, and the book is yours. And by the way, it has a money-back guarantee. We'll repay you every penny you spend on it, which is none, if you don't like it. But it's a wonderful little 250-page book that is a page-turner. It reads like a novel. Lots of fun to read. And as we were saying before we went to the break there, since the 1950s, back when we called it the Atomic Energy Agency, they had developed a little neighborhood nuclear reactor that would work by radioactive decay, not by anything extremely dangerous,
Right.
about the size of a refrigerator, and it could power your entire neighborhood.
Right.
All the homes.
Yeah, I've known about that. Actually, my contacts at Lockheed Martin told me about that years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
well, the point is we were very happy with the technology then, but it was never developed because the utilities wanted to be able to control everything. The beauty of a neighborhood power grid like that is it can't be attacked by hackers in Russia 5,000, 10,000 miles away. You're safe from all of that.
Right.
And as a result, you have the glorious situation where, terrorists would have had a hard time attacking our ancestors.
Right.
Because the typical pioneer ancestor had his own home, shot his own food, cut his own firewood, had his own well. He was independent of these centralized systems. Where in Los Angeles today, everybody depends on 4 major electrical power ties. They depend on 4 major aqueducts to bring them water. And if you cut those things off, you have millions and millions of people who are helpless on land that could naturally support only a few thousand Indians.
Right.
And that is a...
So, in other words, the Stone Age would be like the Sandals Resort compared to what would happen to L.A. or these other cities if the power was cut off.
Yeah, back when I was a think tank futurist doing this kind of work, it used to be said, you give me 30 well-trained terrorists with conventional weapons, no special weapons at all, and we will shut down Los Angeles for you.
Yeah, just drive along in a truck and hit the...
shut down a city like L.A.
You just drive along with a shotgun and hit the power step-down transformers and you're done. You don't even need to have bombs.
To do anything that sophisticated.
Right.
You can be much more simple than that, but I can't tell you how.
Right. You don't want to mention
You doubtless know, but we really shouldn't talk about it on national radio. The point is, we're incredibly vulnerable, and part of the reason for that, as was found out in a thing called Project NESS.
Right.
NESS stands for National Entity Survival Studies. The Pentagon was studying the question, every country has something that creates social coherence, that makes people feel secure in place and so on. So, for example, if you're in Lower Slobovia, the country has a legend that their country will be fine, will survive, and whatever, will be victorious as long as the statue of the national hero exists in the town square.
You're kidding.
Okay, what do? You blow up the statue in the town square. And you've immediately demoralized and psychologically crippled everyone in the country.
Wow.
There are things like that are very easily done in the U.S. where we're totally dependent on high technology. For example, in America, in a big city, the average person has never been able to sleep without a night light. He's never gotten over his fear of the dark. He's never known the stuff not to go down when he flushed the toilet or water to be there when he turned on the tap. All he knows, he doesn't even know who his neighbor is living 4 doors away, but he can safely assume that they own a gun. I mean, it's an environment just waiting for some kind of social disconnection to turn off that technology, to stop the water, to stop the electricity, and the society is dead. In Los Angeles, there's only about 1 policeman for every 1,100 people. And the reason they can do that is because they have very rapid mobility on the freeways and via helicopter. But my goodness, that can be shut down very quickly. I mean, you suddenly cut people's use of or availability of gasoline. Like you pop one small nuclear weapon on Signal Hill in Los Angeles to start the natural fuel supplies burning, and they will run out of fuel in a matter of hours, and the freeways will just become parking lots.
Well, they become death camps.
On them run out of gas, and suddenly all that police mobility is gone.
Right. Yeah.
And so you suddenly are in a jungle. I mean, people don't understand that when we were targeting nuclear weapons, and the same is true of the Soviets, we did not target asking how many people can we kill. We targeted asking how few people can we kill. The objective is to basically kill the leadership layer who actually keep things running and leave everybody else alive, only with no food in the supermarket, no water to drink, no fuel, and so on. So in other words, turn them into a roving mob, which you
Right.
can essentially do overnight, and let them eat each other.
Well, in fact, this is the thing that I've talked about. For example, I tell people have personal protection. When the power started to go out in 2011, I got a 20 kilowatt generator. I got 8,500 watts of solar power, and I'm going to be getting silicon salt batteries. By the way, if you contact me, I have a source now. You can get your silicon salt batteries without a tariff. Right now they're made from China, but we're also going to soon have sources from South Korea and America by probably next spring. But I have a source right now to get them without tariffs. So you can contact me and I can get you silicon salt batteries. Do not get a lithium-ion battery. They're bombs. They'll blow up. Silicon salt battery even better than the old Edison battery made from iron, the iron batteries. And what people should understand is if you're not independently able to take care of yourself, including natural medicine and food and so on, you're dead. And what happens is the main killing fields happen the first 2 months after the power goes out. By the end of 6 months, 90% of the population is dead, and only the people that are prepped up properly, that are foraging the wild berries and things like that and know how to get water, even by squeezing plants and to get the water that way or having a well, only those people are going to survive, especially in a climate area where it may be either very extreme weather or very cold weather or like here in California, desert weather. And one of the things I'm doing is I just talked to Paul Power about primary water because I'm thinking about getting primary water wells in my property because I did radar 4 years ago. It looks like, although I have 1.3 acres, I may actually have a potential well site that's 300 feet down, but he's going to do a double check with his dowsing and other technology to see if I can, and he'll manage the drilling company to actually put the drill down. What people need to understand, if you're not prepping up, you're going to die. If all this stuff happens, and what I'm panicking over now, and I put my 18-minute video up with John W. Spring about what Trump has done and the U.S. government's done with the Kurds. It wasn't just a matter of taking 28 people and sending down tanks to protect the oil wells for who, I don't know, because they're driving them out of the area and the Turks are taking over. The danger is that now that they're putting more Russian missiles and nukes in Syria, that Israel's in grave danger. And this week they announced, the Iranians, that they're going to enrich uranium to weapons grade, and the Israelis have announced they're going to bomb the crap out of Bashir. I have this from my very special sources, okay? That means we're on the knife's edge of a thermonuclear war, and if Israel gets taken out, we're going to get taken out. People don't know this, do they? They think, well, everything's just going to continue like it says in the Bible. Everything shall continue like everything was before, and don't believe those people that have, terrible ideas of what might happen. This is something now that's getting very, very dicey, isn't it?
Oh, no, members of the Israeli armed forces go up on Masada and take an oath in their military service. Masada shall not fall again.
Do you know what that's called? I know the actual term. It's actually a song that was made by Ezekiel called the Vilna Gaon. Have you ever heard about that song called the Vilna Gaon?
Nope.
That's what it's called. And that song was actually invented, the words were invented by Ezekiel, what was it, 2,700 years ago? Wild, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why...
Ezekiel in the first and second book of Kings.
Yeah, exactly. So people need to say, if you think the Jews are going to just take it on the chin and die, you're delusional. They have the Samson option, and believe me, you try to kill the Jews, and that means all of Islam and any other nations that are involved with it, you're going to be annihilated.
And Samson in the Bible, of course, is the one who pulled down the entire temple.
The temple of Dagon, which, by the way, you know what Dagon is?
A dragon.
The amphibious reptilian god that's the mitre head on the Vatican's hats of the Pope. Because the Catholic Church are not Christians, they're Druids. People don't know that. There may be Christians inside the church because they're just ignorant of what the real leaders of the church are, but the cardinals and the Pope, they're Druids. They worship Dagon, the amphibious reptilian god of the Druids, from the star system Alpha Draconis. People, no, Dr. Deagle, they don't do that. Yeah, they do, actually. You may be offended by that, but that's an ugly fact. In the same way as the Jews now, that went to 1,300 years of Babylon, they believe the Sephiad Zira and the Talmud of Babylon. I've talked to Jews that haven't read it. I just talked to one of my friends of 35 years. He's a Jew. He'd never heard of it before, but guess what? the high level of the rabbinate have all studied it when they go to their schools for 8 years. They're all wizards like Saruman the Magnificent. People say, no, Dr. Deagle, they aren't. I actually talked to one guy who wanted to train me 28 years ago. He said, I respect you because you're a Kohanim descendant. So I'm going to tell you, idiot Christians, we're not like you. We're not Judeo-Christian. We're wizards. We summon demons. We control the nature of reality using trans-dimensional technology. I said, you're kidding? I said, no. This is almost 30 years ago. People don't get it, do they? They don't realize the world that is real is not what they think it is at all. They're living in a delusion. People are living in a delusion, whether it's fake religion or milk and cookies Christianity, or they're put to one side or another of a political thing to be balkanized. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Listen, Trump needs to wise up on a whole lot of things because he's marching us, even though he does good things, and he may be well-intentioned, he's marching us like lemons over the cliff. And the demon rats are just complaining crazy. I mean, they say things, for example, 93% of first trimester abortionists wouldn't do late term, but all the Democrats support not only late term abortion, but infanticide. These people have lost it completely. No border, no prisons, fund everything, give free health care to everybody, and don't fix the health care system that bankrupts us. No. Don't worry, we'll lose 2 million jobs. So what? And Elizabeth Warren says, it's not going to raise the cost of middle class. Are you kidding? There won't be a middle class. They'll be having their bowl of gruel until they die prematurely. If they get sick, the healthcare system will just terminate them, not care for them.
Either that or the middle will be so much lower that she is, in a sense, telling the truth, but of course she's deceiving.
She's a lying piece of garbage. I call her Liar-Watha. Instead of Hiawatha, I've changed her name to Liar-Watha. Do you like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
But in the meanwhile, what we're seeing now, of course, as you witnessed on the news the last few days, is in New York City, they are going ahead with decriminalizing crime. That is, they actually had massive protests by people who routinely jump over the turnstiles in the subways.
I saw that.
They believe they have the right to do so.
And AOC,
was defending
the plaything of Satan himself, AOC, I call her one with absent a cortex, supports these maniacs that don't want to pay the $2.75 to go in the subway. It's like, are you kidding me? You have a elected politician asking people to break the law? You've got to be kidding. She's the same one saying we don't want to make babies anymore. We want to eat babies, in fact. They're saying we've had to start eating humans. Time for cannibalism.
The name Moloch ring a bell.
Yeah, time for me. Pass me my Soylent Green. How's that? Just Charlton Heston. I want my Soylent Green. I don't want to eat my grandma. Don't bury her. Cook her. Make a pie out of her. Gross, isn't it? These people are beyond human. They are indwelt by transdimensional entities. We are now at the end times. You don't think it's far away? No. We're in the cusp of it now, aren't we? God help us.
Very well could be, yes.
Okay, we're in the cusp. Back in a moment. Thank you for an amazing show. Again, with Lowell Ponte. Get the book. That number again, repeat it.
800-630-1492.
Amazing. Back in a moment with Jonathan Gray from New Zealand, ancient Christian archaeologist. You don't want to miss it. He's here at least twice a month usually.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bill.